I think every team likes to establish its pattern early. Duke will want to use his quickness, perhaps push the ball up the floor. Look for both teams to start in a man-to-man as Duke is.
Atkins pinned on the sideline by Amaker to Coleman. Billis comes out to covering. There's that matchup. Allery has Glenn Bias. That's Mahar on Veal. You talk about a physical matchup. Look at Mahar go after him. Veal takes the shot, gets an air ball. Allery hauls the rebound down, and Duke gets possession.
Key matchup on the other end, Fred. Herman Veal guarding Mark Allery. Veal, one of the better defenders in the ACC.
He's done the job. Two games in this tournament. Dawkins outside. Atkins defending him. That puts Branch on the point. Amaker. Interesting size matchup there. Dawkins working the wing. Goes to the corner. Loves it. Johnny Dawkins had that ball about 15 feet in the air and got nothing but net.
That was just a great one-on-one move. Jeff Atkins was in perfect defensive position, did everything he could. Dawkins lofted it over his outstretched hands.
That's got to make a player feel good to get that shot down to start the ballgame.
Duke in their man-to-man defense, but they're putting pressure on as far out as they can, trying to make Maryland kill some time moving the basketball.
Branch shot short, and I'll tell you what, Maryland looks a little bit tentative that trip up the court. Maybe the Duke defense caused them some problems the first two trips. They looked a little bit confused. It's just 2-0 Duke. We're very early. The ball deflected by Coleman. I like the comment yesterday Mike said to his players and to his wife, look, let's all settle down. And Mickey Krzyzewski said, tell it to your players. I'm going to enjoy this thing for a while. Amaker. Billis top of the circle for Duke. The Blue Devils 24-8. Maryland 22-7. Danny Mahar. Dawkins takes the off-balance jumper. Can't get it. The ball's in the floor. Jay Billis picks up 2, and Duke is up 4-0.
Jay Billis has had 2 of his finest games the last 2 games of the season. He had 11 rebounds yesterday, his season high.
Adrian Branch deep on the wing, looks in. Cross court, down the baseline is Atkins. He has nowhere to go, and Duke takes it away. Dawkins pushing it up, 3-on-2. Great feed to Mahar, but he can't make the catch. It's out of bounds and belongs to Maryland. Adrian Branch. Dawkins bothering him. Now Veal taken away by Dawkins. He's got Mahar in front. They're 2-on-2. Dawkins goes to the hoop. The shot's up and in and out. Mahar trying to rebound. Atkins knocks it loose, and Amaker picks it up. Boy, Atkins did a good job of getting back.
And the Duke defense is really giving the Terrapins trouble early. Their pressure is really bothering Maryland, forcing up some bad shots, creating a few turnovers.
Amaker's court sense is amazing. He had his back turned and turning new right where Jay Billis was. Dawkins buries it again from the deep corner. Boy, if he's going to stick it like that, Maryland may have a long afternoon.
He likes that spot in the corner. Again, Jeff Atkins in good position. Just a tough shot.
We have played 3 minutes, 5 seconds. Maryland has not scored. They haven't even had a good shot. There's Bias with 1 from the top of the circle. Atkins pulls down the rebound. Maryland keeps the ball.
Fred, when you put pressure defense on the way Duke is now, you tend to get the teams running their offense too far away from the basket. Look where Atkins had to stop his dribble that time, 35 feet from the basket.
There's the steal. Danny Mahar takes it away. I'll tell you what, they have taken Maryland right out of their offense in the early going here. Duke playing beautiful, beautiful basketball. Amaker clears timeline. The Devils up by 6. Long way to go. 16-17 left in the first half. Allery's first shot won't go, and Coleman muscled the rebound off. Danny Mahar fouled him, and it was kind of a needless foul. The 2 meetings this year, each team won on the road. That's been Duke's habit all year. 11-2 away from home this year.
You mentioned Ben Coleman, Fred. I think he perhaps may be the key in this game for Maryland. They have to get some point production down low from him. He can give Duke trouble inside.
There it is. Ben Coleman got it. Another thing is that Duke has had foul problems this year, and they cannot afford to get their frontline people in foul trouble here.
They do not have a player that can match physically with Ben Coleman. Here's the alley-oop.
Johnny Dawkins.
Adrian Branch with his head turned the wrong way. The alley-oop pass to Dawkins.
It's a great pass, Jeff.
Excellent pass from Mahar.
Coleman having trouble. Maryland turns it over. Duke has opened a 6-point lead. Maryland has Gatlin in the ballgame.
And Lefty Driesell very alertly recognizes the fact that they need better ball handling out there. Keith Gatlin, only a freshman, is their best ball handler. He could be also a key in this game for Maryland.
Let's see if he can get the Terps in their offense. They haven't been able to do it yet. It's 8-2 Duke. Amaker working the corner. in the circle. He walked to the basketball. Duke has hit 4 out of 7 shots. Maryland 1 out of 4 to open this ball game.
Fred, another key with the insertion of Gatlin into the game. They've made a switch defensively. Adrian Branch that time was guarding Johnny Dawkins. That was the matchup that I expected to see at the start of the game.
There's Beal. Mahar out covering him and getting him problems. Beal picks up the dribble, lobs to Bias. He takes the off-balance jumper and sticks it. Len Bias with a tough shot off the baseline.
Said time and time again, Len Bias gets such a great look at the basket because he's such an outstanding leaper.
14:38 left in first half action. Allery got careless and lost the basketball. It's picked up by Beal. You won't see him make that mistake often. Gatlin gets penetration. The shot won't fall. Rebound back. Won by Duke. Jay Billis got up and pulled it down strongly. Dawkins with a long pass intended for Mahar. Mahar wasn't looking at him. Dawkins gambled that Mahar would turn in time. He did. See what Maryland can do. This could be a momentum swinger. 2 turnovers now. If Maryland can answer with a bucket, they're only down by 2. Foul called on Tommy Amaker as Gatlin went to the baseline. So Amaker draws his first foul. The second called on Duke. Inbounds to Branch, to Bias, to Gatlin. Looks into Coleman, back out to Bias. 14:03 left in our first half. The ACC championship game from the Greensboro Coliseum. Packed house looking on. Bias with a turnaround jumper. Tried to bank it, couldn't get it. Big offensive rebound. Coleman threw it back up over his head. It wouldn't fall. Henderson pushing it up now for Duke. Tried to get it to Dawkins. Great catch and the shot fell. Almost impossible.
2 Maryland players got a hand on the ball, but Johnny Dawkins picked it up and laid it in.
I wasn't sure he could come up with the ball. Dawkins just really made a great catch. Branch banks it home. Adrian Branch has his first 2 points. It's 10-6, Duke by 4.
Adrian Branch, the tallest guard in the Atlantic Coast Conference and one of the tallest in the country, takes good advantage of his height.
Battle of the point guards. Tommy Amaker just took Gatlin into the circle and knocked down his first shot of the day. 13:09 left in the first half. Ben Coleman with a big offensive step back. The pace is pretty good right now. This is the game that Turk guard Adrian Branch called the brawl for it all. Turnover, Duke.
Johnny Dawkins saw an opportunity to penetrate that time, was going to make the pass. He threw the ball out of bounds.
Long lob, Coleman off balance, trying to save it. Dawkins picks it up, moves on Branch. I do not believe he got that shot down. He did a 360.
Adrian Branch, much bigger than him, cut him off. He did a 360 in the air and laid it very softly off the glass.
Is there any doubt who has the hot hand? Dawkins has 10. 5 for 7 from the floor and some tough ones involved. 14-8. Allery with the steal. Runs by Coleman. Moves on Branch. Takes it to the hole. One ball. Coleman pulls it back down. Now Maryland. Beal off the baseline. Coleman, nice fake down the lane. He goes. The shot is too short. And Henderson has the rebound. He's two-time. Wants to clear it. It's knocked loose and Amaker comes out of there with it. The lob to Allery. Back to Mahar. Left hand up and gets it.
Great pass by Mark Allery that time. The high lob. He barely touched the ball, Fred. Deflected it to Mahar for the easy left-handed layup.
Jeff, a young team under pressure responding with beautiful, beautiful basketball here.
I watched the quotes in the paper today, and the Duke players said, yeah, we're young, but we don't play young. After you've gone through one ACC season like we have, we're an experienced team.
Len Bias, well, he squares up nicely and gets the shot away. Hits it. He has 4. It's 16-10. Duke by 6. 11-12 left in the first half. Some pace.
Exactly why I think Len Bias is one of the best players in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Time and again, he comes up with a big basket.
Look at the Dawkins move there. He lost his feet, sat down, kept it. That was supposed to be a pass. Allery recovers it. The hard chance, and Coleman hauls it down. And Coleman starting to assert himself on the boards now. Out come the Terps.
Mark Allery got the shot he liked. He usually hits that one. He's been shooting a great percentage in the tournament thus far. He's a little cold early.
Branch, Coleman on the high post. 5 rebounds for Ben Coleman. Branch off the Coleman screen. Won't fall. Beal's there. He's fouled. You can hear the skin slap even with the crowd. Just look at Herman Beal from the backboard. It's a new camera that NBC has mounted here today. McNeely with the basketball for Duke. Henderson. Nice fake, and he drew the foul. The shot wouldn't fall, but he very wisely went ahead and attempted it. David Henderson, Krzyzewski calls him my 6th starter. He's averaging 14 points a game off the bench. He is the 3rd leading scorer on the Duke team. 6'5" sophomore from Drury, North Carolina. Gets them both.
We just got a score from the Southwest Conference. Houston 20, Arkansas 16 in the first quarter.
I'm glad you heard that. I thought for a moment they said 60 to 20. I wondered what happened to Arkansas. 10:02 left in the first half. Len Bias took a walk in the lane, and they're going to turn the basketball over. 18-11. Duke with a 7-point lead. They've led by as many as 8. Maryland has not had the lead. Duke opened the ball game with the first bucket. Maryland got the first possession. Duke got the first basket. Amaker threw it away. He was looking at a cut by Dawkins. A basket's not going to count. A very emphatic slam dunk on the other end of the floor.
Turnovers are so critical in championship play, Fred, because just as in that play, every basket, and particularly an easy basket opportunity, something you don't want to lose. Maryland just lost a big basket.
18-11 Duke. The score remains. 9:26 left in our first half. And McNeely to Dawkins to Mahar on the wing. That's out of his range. The ball is kicked out of bounds by Ben Coleman. The magic of college basketball.
Both teams have stayed exclusively in the man-to-man defense so far in the game.
Mahar starts the drive and throws it away. There's a case where a fellow who is not a shooter had a shot and thought he would just give it up out of unselfishness. Probably should have taken it.
I think a little over-anxious because the pass was very firm, hard to handle.
9:08 left in first half action here. Gatlin against Dawkins. Coleman against Allery. Mahar has Bias. Beal and McNeely, and Beal takes the shot. It won't go. That was Terry Long that came down and tipped it. Excuse me, not Beal. Long has 2 points.
Terry Long did a good job for Wake Forest yesterday while he was in the game. Shows that he's a very capable player.
Allery inside Henderson. Bias had it, and a foul's going to be called on Doug McNeely. He took it away. They committed the foul. His first, the 4th on Duke. 8:38 left in our first half. There are the team fouls. Duke 4. Maryland just 1. Len Bias has the only turf foul. Gatlin. Well, he threw a fastball. Len Bias caught it, turned around, and shot it very softly made it.
Maryland doing the smart thing now, trying to get the ball inside where their power and strength is more of a factor.
Foul's going to be called on Adrian Branch right there. Duke leading by 3. Henderson, nice work in the lane by David Henderson. He has 4 points. Some of the Duke fans. Keith Gatlin. Gatlin takes Amaker down the baseline. He's doing a good job on defense. Amaker. Coleman against Billis. Long against Mahar. Coleman. The drive, and the foul is going to go against Duke. Nice shot both from Ben Coleman and from the camera.
Both teams have more turnovers than both coaches would like. Maryland with 8, Duke with 7 turnovers early in this game.
Offense is finding your tempo. Defense is breaking it.
Interesting contrast in the type of turnovers, too. I think Duke has forced a lot on Maryland. On the other end, Duke has tried to do a little too much offensively with the ball. They've overpassed a few times and caused their own turnovers.
Allery, good. Tough shot by Mark Allery, and that's his first 2 points of the afternoon. He scored 41 points in the first 2 tournament games and 40 against Maryland in 2 meetings this year. Adkins, the lob to Coleman. He's there. Got possession on Billis, but Billis partially blocks it. Good defense by Jay Billis. Duke by 5. Amaker is fouled. Jeff Atkins got him on the reach. The first foul on Atkins, the third on Maryland. Henderson. Coleman. Long pass up court. Len Bias has 8 points for Maryland. And it's a 3-point lead to Duke with 6:30 left in the first half.
Johnny Dawkins almost got a hand on the pass, but what a pass it was from Ben Coleman. Not an easy thing to do, Fred. Never brought the ball down, whip it the length of the court.
Phillips, top of the circle, out of his range. Doesn't want the shot from there. There's Ellery powering his way inside. It's going to be called a jump ball. He started to go in the air. A defender got a hand on the ball. He came back down with it. That is not a walk. The possession belongs to Duke. 6:10 left in the first half. 22-19 Duke. Dawkins flashing the baseline. Threw up a nearly impossible shot, and that one wouldn't go. He's made a couple of nearly impossible tries.
Johnny Dawkins is at his best offensively when he's in motion. Tommy Amica trying to knock the ball away from Adrian Branch, knocks it out of bounds.
Second foul, Tommy Amica. Maryland, a veteran club with good poise, took the punch and reacted well. Cross court to Branch.
Duke in the 2-3 zone, changing their defense. They prefer the man-to-man, but they will change it up slightly.
Gatlin's shot won't go, and Ellery clears the rebound. Dawkins is going to run it up. Take it on in. Mahar. Fairly impossible.
That's the kind of turnover Duke has had, trying to overpass the ball a little bit on the offensive end.
Adrian Branch. Outside to Gatlin. Branch.
Adrian Branch using his size, getting into the seam of the defense. He's so strong and big in there.
4 points to Adrian Branch. 22-21. Duke's lead down to 1. And Dawkins trying to force it inside. They're trying to get it to Ellery, and Maryland taking it away. Now the Terps could get their first lead of the afternoon right here with 4:41 left in the first half. 9 turnovers Duke, 8 Maryland. Branch from the corner. Maryland's in front. Adrian Branch picks up his 6th point, and Maryland leads for the first time today, 23-22.
Adrian Branch is what you call a scorer, Fred, and when he feels the hot hand, look out, because he'll get very aggressive offensively, as he's done with 2 in a row.
Amaker, nice lob to Ellery. Great fake, and he's fouled by Ben Coleman. That's the first on Coleman. Ellery, 77% free throw shooter, missed. Ellery, the 6'8" sophomore from Scottsdale, Arizona. Couldn't get it. Dawkins is going to shoot and hit it. Johnny Dawkins rebounding the free throw and picking up his 12th point.
Johnny Dawkins has played against Maryland 4 other times. He's had 91 points in those 4 games. He's from Maryland area. He likes to play well against a lot of his friends. Branch off balance, shot too strong. Dawkins, big rebound. He's having a great first half. That is going to be a foul on Adrian Branch. It's at 3:38. We have 3:51 left in the first half. This ACC basketball game has been brought to you in part by Mazda, by Holly Farms, and by Boss Bakeries. Ellery to Henderson. Turned down a shot. Now Mahar, he doesn't want the shot. Well, Ben Coleman is not coming out and playing him either, giving him the shot at the top of the key, but that's not Danny's shot. He'll work it around a little more. Henderson to Ellery, off the wing, a little strong with it. Dawkins tipped it to Mahar, and he takes it. Danny Mahar powered it in, and Dawkins got a hand on it and tipped it into it. Excellent offensive rebounding by Duke. They've been able to match Maryland on the boards. Both teams with 12 rebounds. 4 points, Danny Mahar. 3-point lead Duke. 3:08 left in the first half. Coleman outside to Gatlin. Adrian Branch at the baseline. Dawkins out with him. Len Bias, turnaround jumper, is going to be called for a walk. He and Henderson collided. His second or third traveling call against Len Bias as he's trying to set up a shoot in this game. Got one going for a dunk. That's 3. Got one coming off a jumper. He's such a team leader. He looks so intent on getting something going for Maryland offensively, getting a little over anxious inside. You saw Lefty's reaction. That was aimed at an official, not at a player.
2:43 left in the first half. Dawkins quick moving the lane. Puts up the jumper. It won't fall. And Branch picks the rebound off the floor for Maryland. Hands to Gatlin. Maryland can get back within one here. Henderson tried that loose from Bias. Amaker moving on Gatlin. He was short with it. Big rebound to Allery. Working the baseline. Dawkins is there. Punch, shoots, and hits. Johnny Dawkins. 14 points in the first half of this ball game. 5-point lead to Duke.
Johnny's only 6'2½", but he has such great leaping ability. There's Keith Gatlin going baseline. Excellent one-on-one move. That's the kind of penetration Maryland needs.
We are seeing some individual talent in this game. 28-25 Maryland now. 1:53 left in the first half. Danny Mahar is going to beat the jumper. 6 points, Danny Mahar. He might have been thinking about the fact that invited him to shoot, and he turned it down a couple of times and thought he better keep him honest. 1:38 left in the first half. Charging call against Adrian Branch. Big foul, Jeff. That's his third, and Lefty doesn't like the call at all. Danny Mahar. Henderson. Mahar, the lob to Dawkins, and the ball was pinned against the glass. Dawkins just couldn't quite get it under control. Pretty good thought. Bias. Nice jump shot off the baseline. Oh, he can shoot the jumper.
One of the advantages that Lefty Driesell has is that he's got two fine players on the bench. Branch goes out. Jeff Atkins, who is very explosive, can hurt you, comes in to replace him. Mark Fothergill has not been in the game yet, but he certainly is a pressure performer for Maryland.
Bias having another good day against Duke. 10 points in this game. He has 42 in the first two games against Duke this year, and he scored 30 in this tournament in two. One official had a foul, but one had walking before the foul occurred.
Called walking, and Maryland doing an excellent job of double teaming as soon as the ball goes inside against Duke.
34 seconds left in the first half. Duke leading Maryland 30-27. Beal. Mahar out covering. Len Bias to Ben Coleman. Shot won't fall. Phillips clears the rebound. He has been strong on the boards for Duke. So now the Blue Devils can get the last shot. That's what Mike Krzyzewski wants. You see the clock. 12 seconds left in the half. Dawkins clears the timeline. 8 seconds left in the half. Dawkins works against Atkins. 4 seconds left. They're going to have to shoot it. Henderson takes to the circle, fires the jumper short, and the first half has come to an end. Maryland had one brief little lead in this half of 1 point.
Johnny Dawkins with 14, Danny Mahar 6. Mark Allery only 2 points, but remember that Georgia Tech game where he had 12 out of 16 points in one spurt in the second half. He's a very explosive scorer.
Allery just 1 for 5 shooting in the first half. They lobbed to Bias. He got a great tip up there. It wouldn't fall, but he comes back. Len Bias now has 12 points in this game.
Fred, our statistician John Madry has given me a very telling stat, and 3 of the last 4 tournament champs have trailed at the halftime. So, of course, Maryland would be happy to know that. Duke would not be very happy with that.
30-29, Duke by 1. Johnny Dawkins, quick move in the lane, fires the off-balance jumper. Strong tip in there by Jay Billis. 4 points, Jay Billis. 32-29 Duke. 19-19. Luck in the championship game. Beal to Bias. Branch, quick line shot in the lane. A little short. And it's Allery flipping it to Dawkins on the rebound. Johnny Dawkins playing a little bit out of control right now.
Johnny Dawkins likes that open floor. He felt like he could make a move on Jeff Atkins. Atkins had good defensive position. Johnny got hung in the air. Bad shot.
Maryland with a chance to close within 1 here. Jeff Atkins working on the wing. Picks up the dribble, gives to Bias. Now Branch. Coleman with inside position against Billis down low. They can't get him the lob. Atkins drives to the hoop and gets it. Jeff Atkins with his first 2 points of the afternoon. It's a 1-point lead to Duke with 18-26.
That's what you call driving to the basket with authority. Atkins saw an opening to the basket and took it up there strong.
Maryland guards are so big. Atkins 6'5", Gatlin 6'5", and Branch 6'8". Coleman hustling after the ball, tried to save it. It's out of bounds.
Ben Coleman hustling after the basketball, trying to save it. He had 6 rebounds the first half. Couldn't save it that time.
Allery with a return feed from Danny Mahar, and Mark Allery 1 for 5 in the first half. It's a tough shot to open the second half.
Sometimes when you're a scorer, that big basket, that first one can get you going. I saw Herman Veal a little upset with himself that Mark Allery hit that basket. He knew he'd done a good job the first half. Hates to see him get off.
Lob to Branch high post. Jeff, you're a shooter. I've always heard his expression. Shoot when you're hot. If you're not hot, shoot till you get hot. Now they've called it, I believe, a 2-shot foul. Branch, free throw good. 74% free throw shooter. Branch steps up, hits him. He has 8 points, 1-point lead to Duke. 17:41 left in the game. The ACC championship game from the Greensboro Coliseum. It's been a great 3 days here in this building. A well-run tournament. Foul on the baseline, charged to Jeff Atkins. That is his second. Lefty's 6th time in this championship game. Hasn't won it yet. Danny Mahar. Danny Mahar has 8 points. He had only scored 8 points the first 2 games in this tournament, but he's looking for the shot a little bit now, Jeff.
Well, I think maybe the coaches might have told him, look, they're leaving you open. Don't be afraid to take that jumper if it's your shot. He's 4 out of 5 from the floor in this team.
Ben Coleman with a jump hook off the back of the rim. Tommy Amaker, the point guard, cleared the rebound. .16:59 now left in the game. Dawkins working the baseline. Shot blocked by Jeff Atkins. Adrian Branch pushes it up. They're 2-on-1 against Amaker. Now Allery gets there to help and commits a foul.
You know, when you've got 3 fouls, you can't really put your head down and go to the basket. But he's playing his offensive game, even though he has 3 fouls.
Branch in and out. Coleman trying to dig the rebound out of there. Billis saved it. And Veal knocks down the pass. Branch back in the lane, lays it up. It's in and out. And Mahar pulls it out of there. Mahar up against Atkins. He's 1-on-3 and very wisely pulls it up. Gives to Amaker. Good, solid work. Mahar's an old hockey player. He went in the corner to dig the puck out of there that time.
He did the wise thing that time, pulling it out. Mark Allery with the long jumper. That was a big sequence for Duke. Maryland had a good chance to tie it. Adrian Branch missed the layup. Mark Allery answers at the other end.
16-12 left in this game. Atkins, finally off balance, throws it up. 16:04 left in this game. Lefty's going to stay with him. He's keeping Gatlin on the bench right now. Branch and Atkins are the guards. Henderson outside to Amaker. Shot clock hasn't been a factor all day. Both clubs have been running their offense in good fashion. Well, I should say rapid. There have been turnovers. Dawkins working, wants the shot, takes it up off the front of the rim. Well, he really wants the shot today. Atkins brings it back with 15:31 left in this game. Duke by 4. Coleman at the baseline 2 times. Back to Atkins. Back to Coleman. And he has the ball taken away. Allery, long throw up to Tommy Amaker. The shot's up and good. Nice shot by Tommy Amaker. Off balance and got it.
Adrian Branch coming down fast the other way, looking for the shot. It wasn't there.
It's going to be a foul against David Henderson.
Back in Greensboro, we have some scores to pass along. The Big Ten regular season has come to a conclusion. Purdue, a winner over Minnesota's Golden Gophers, 63-62. Purdue shares the regular season title with Illinois. Let's go courtside now for more action in the ACC.
Thank you, Paul. It's my understanding of the Big Ten formula that Illinois gets the tournament bid out of there. Mahar. Oh, he was running the floor with a purpose. He was hunting that shot.
Excellent pass from Johnny Dawkins. They had a 3-on-1 break. He looked the defender off. Nice pass to Mahar for the dunk.
10 points. Danny Mahar, who had scored just 10 in the first 2 games in this tournament. Or against Maryland this year, rather. 8 in the tournament. Adrian Branch answers with 2. 11 points, Adrian Branch. He had the big second half yesterday.
And we have to mention that Keith Gatlin is back in the game. He penetrated into the free throw line, made the backdoor pass to Branch. Gatlin, very important to Maryland's offensive pattern. Duke
by 6, 14-21 left in this basketball game. Long way to go. Henderson. Bias covers him. Johnny Dawkins in the lane. Tried to lay it off, and the ball is out of bounds to Maryland. Johnny Dawkins got this thing off to a great start.
Johnny has such hanging ability that a lot of time his teammates think he's going to shoot the ball, but instead at the last minute he'll pass it off. Danny Mahar wasn't ready that time.
It was a great shot from the camera above the basket down there that Mahar stuck. Len Bias has an open 8-footer. He's not going to miss many of those. Len Bias now has 14 points. Jeff, I started to say Johnny Dawkins got this game off to a great start, but he's right on the border of being out of control the last few trips up the floor.
Well, he's 0 for 4 in the second half. Jeff Atkins picked up 2 quick fouls, but he did a good job defensively on Dawkins. Maryland, the last 2 times down the floor, has gotten the ball into the paint area. That's where you get important clutch baskets.
13:25 left in the basketball game. There's the lob to Mahar, and Maryland was there to defend it. Dawkins picks up the loose ball. In the lane, bounce to Henderson. Shot won't fall. Foul goes against Maryland.
You like to see your guards penetrating the middle with their head up. That's what Johnny Dawkins did. David Henderson will go to the line for 2.
David Henderson 3 for 3 on the line now has 5 points in this game.
He's a super young man, and of course such a key to that big game yesterday against North Carolina. His clutch free throws.
5-point lead to Duke, 13-10 left in the championship game, the 1984 ACC tournament from the Greensboro Coliseum. It has been an outstanding 3 days here, and today, well, it's measuring up. Adrian Branch works against Dawkins outside to Gatlin.
All of a sudden, Duke showing a little zone, this time a 1-2-2 zone with David Henderson at the point.
Bias, what a shooter. 16 points for Bias. He's a 56% field goal shooter, and we're talking about a guy with range.
That's the amazing thing about his field goal percentage. He will take the ball 18 feet from the basket as he did that time. Excellent shooter.
Mahar takes it to the hoop. Blocked from behind. It's out of bounds to Duke. Ben Coleman. The last 2 or 3 times down court for Duke, Ben Coleman's doing a strong job on defense in there. Allery to Mahar. Bob to Allery, knocked loose by Gatlin. Great save by Keith Gatlin to Ben Coleman. Good play from Gatlin.
Great defensive instincts that time. Gatlin coming from the weak side when he saw the ball in the air, just swiped the ball out of Allery's hand.
Maryland down by just 3 now with 12:15 to play. Duke has gone to his own. Bias. Oh, what a shooter.
Not only is that a tough shot, but that time Mark Allery had come out on him, had a hand in his face, made him arc it a little bit more, but he still stuck it in there.
Len Bias now has 18 points. He is 9 for 13 from the floor in this game, and most of them from long range. Dawkins penetration is going to be called for the charge.
Well, I think Mike Krzyzewski wanted to talk to Johnny. He's played a little out of control here in the second half. Mike's the kind of coach that says, hey, let's let our offense do it. We don't need to play one-on-one. He wants to talk to us.
Ben Coleman gives Maryland their second lead of the game. Maryland band celebrates with 11:36 left. The Terps up 44-43. Once in the first half, they led by a point. Duke faced that challenge and turned it back in the first half. Let's see if they can do it again. Danny Mahar, Amaker. Screen there from Villas. Amaker doesn't take the shot. Outside, David Henderson. He's got penetration. Tried to dish to Mahar. He should have taken the shot in all probability. It's Henderson's 3rd foul. The 15th foul on Duke in the second half. Maryland's committed 3. Now Maryland with the lead and the basketball.
Maryland starting their offensive formation a little different. Adrian Branch at the top of the key. Keith Gatlin in the corner. Looks like he wants to make a move, but passes it out. Branch
Against Henderson. Branch jumpers up. Real strong. And Ben Coleman called for a personal foul on the rebound. Doug McNeely is a very strong player. He uses his lack of height, but he weighs about 220, so he uses his weight for good positioning on the boards. Turnovers in this game now. Duke 17, Maryland 12. 44-43 Maryland. 10:30 left in the game. Henderson back outside to Amaker. To Mahar. Looks in at Villas. Nothing there for him. Henderson. Jumper off balance. With a strong. And Len Bias with a big rebound. Maryland has the basketball in the lead again. And I saw Mike Krzyzewski turn. He's going to put Dawkins and Allery back in the game right now. There's just not much offensive punch out there without them when they're both off the floor.
Very unusual that both of them would be out at the same time. There's a lot of basketball left. Mike Krzyzewski wanted to rest him.
9:57 left in the game. Double Turbo charge to Gatlin. Gatlin says, hey, Amaker got a hand on the ball.
It looked like Tommy Amica may have got a little bit of the ball. That's what Keith Gatlin says anyway. Gatlin was called for double dribble.
Billis hands to Dawkins. Dawkins is going to bring it up. There are the turnovers in this game.
Neither coach too happy with that, but of course both teams playing extremely hard.
McNeely, Dawkins, down to Billis. Working, throws it up and gets it. Jay Billis has 8, and he had to work to get that shot against Coleman.
Coleman had excellent position. Billis finally stepped around and laid a tough shot off the glass for 2.
And Duke is back up by a point. 9:18 left in this game. Twice Maryland had the lead and the ball and couldn't up the lead. Coleman rebounds the bias miss. Does it up? No. Billis with a tough rebound. Trying to protect the ball. Now gets it out of there. McNeely gives to Dawkins. Dawkins doing the ball handling right now.
And Keith Gatlin matched up with Johnny Dawkins. Adrian Branch with 3 fouls is guarding Tommy Amica.
McNeely look down low at Ellery. Outside to Amaker. 8:46 left in this game. Duke up by 1. Dawkins needs some help. It's to McNeely.
Johnny Dawkins much more under control now, not trying to force things. The time on the bench well spent.
11 seconds left on the shot clock. Dawkins can't get him to fall. We've got a foul call against Jay Billis. One official called a jump ball. The other one called a foul. That's a third on Billis.
After such a great start, very important. Maryland doing a good job defensively.
Dawkins with 14 first half points, 7 for 11 from the floor, now 0 for 5 in this half. Branch, tough shot, it's in and out, but Beal is there. Herman Beal with his first basket, his 3rd point of the game, and Maryland goes back up by a point with 8:06 left.
Somehow you just sensed it was going to be this kind of game, Fred. 2 teams playing extremely hard, trying to get the first ACC championship for their team.
Amaker, Ellery from long range, strong with the try. Coleman and Branch were there. McNeely had a hand in to bother him, and the ball belongs to Duke. Is this the formula for a tournament championship? 3 sophomores, a freshman, and a junior? That's what Duke has on the floor now. That's what they started the game with. Such a young ball club, and here they are at the pinnacle. Maryland in a zone now. Haven't seen much zone today, Jeff, from either club.
Both teams would prefer to play man-to-man, but after timeouts, they have tried to confuse things with the zone. They usually don't stay with it too long.
They lob cross court to beat it. Dawkins from the deep corner got an air ball. And Dawkins 0 for 6 in this half. Can't find his shot. And that means a lot to do.
You know, when your shot leaves you like this, you have trouble. That's when you look, Fred, for an easy basket. You hope to get a fast break basket, a layup, a tip-in, something to get you going.
And don't you hope to get one off the move, maybe more than a set shot from the deep corner?
Absolutely, where you don't have time to think about it.
First time today, Maryland goes up by more than 1. The Terps have a 3-point lead off the Keith Gatlin basket, his 4th point. 6:56 left in the game. Dawkins, a little hesitant right there. They lobs cross court. Henderson.
Maryland doing a good job in the 2-3 zone. They're a big team. They're using their hands and arms very well. Bothering Duke. Well, he's trying to do something and make something happen, and he's so anxious to do it. He's forcing it a little bit, and of course, Maryland taking advantage of it at the other end.
This thing stays close. Don't bet he won't do something spectacular before the day comes to an end. 6:28 left in the game. Maryland up by 3. Branch works the baseline against Dawkins. Nice feed to Beal. Tough shot. Herman Beal with a tremendous shot off the baseline. He has 5, and Maryland up by 5.
What a big basketball play. Tough pass from Adrian Branch. And then the tough shot by Herman Beal, double clutching it into the basket.
Amakers won't fall. Mahar digs it out. Can't get it. Tip try Ellery. Nope. And Beal takes it down for Maryland. Duke got 3 cracks at it. Couldn't drop one. Gatlin pushes it up. 5:53 left in this game. Maryland maybe assuming control. Branch works Dawkins. Coleman gives him the screen. Gatlin.
You can see Adrian Branch trying to take the ball to the basket. He's got quite a height advantage on Johnny Dawkins. Couldn't get in there before. Keith Gatlin went baseline. Tommy Amica knocked it out of bounds. Maryland ball.
Branch moves Dawkins into the circle. Dawkins had help from Henderson. Now Bias is going to get the jumper. Good. Len Bias, 20 points in this ball game. 50 points in the tournament now. And Maryland leads by 7 with 5:09 to play, and the shot clock's going to go off in about a minute, and that will work in Maryland's favor. Henderson can't get it. Mahar's there, and a foul is called against Danny Mahar. Maryland gets the ball back. Mahar commits his second foul. Gatlin on the line, 84% free throw shooter. 8-point lead to the Terps. Playing in his home state and liking the way it's going right now. 6 points, Gatlin, 54-45. Maryland has opened a 9-point lead. They have a run going right here. Second half shooting, Duke can't find the range.
And they've had particular trouble since Maryland's been in the zone.
Amaker lost it off his foot. Gatlin to Bias, knocked loose, and a foul call on Henderson. Bias, 74% shooter. He has 21 points here today. He's a 6'8" sophomore who grew up, played his high school ball rather, within 2 miles of Cole Fieldhouse.
Len Bias, one of the heroes in the second half for Maryland. Adrian Branch, another. Herman Veal, definitely for defense, a very valuable player for Maryland. And let's not forget Keith Gatlin. Every time he entered the game, their offense seemed to click. Duke wants a timeout. David Henderson calls it.
Maryland has run off 10 straight points against Duke here. Johnny Dawkins deep on the wing. Shot won't fall. He's over 7 this half. And it must be breaking his heart right now, is breaking the back of Duke. 56-45 Maryland, 4:16 left in this basketball game.
The shot clock will go off, Fred, so Maryland look for them to hold the basketball with this 11-point lead.
Bias, Gatlin. Keith Gatlin. Buys it to Coleman. Coleman's got it up and in. 10 points, Coleman. And Maryland up by 13 and walking away with the ACC championship unless Duke can pull a miracle late here.
And look at him on defense in the 2-3 zone. Mark Allery almost loses it, gets it back to David Henderson.
Henderson breaks the run. Maryland has scored 12 consecutive points, and Davis and Henderson knocks one down. He now has 7. 3:30 left in the game. Maryland still up by 11, and a foul called on Johnny Dawkins. The second on Dawkins. 58-47. Maryland up by 11. Branch on the line is at 3 out of 4. He has 11 points. 74% shooter. Free throw, in and out. Duke has to have something. Henderson. Duke can't get anything to go. Lead patch. Adrian Branch, great feed back to Bias.
Excellent outlet pass by Ben Coleman. Ball over his head, threw it the length of the court. Branch to Bias, the easy basket.
Foul called on Ben Coleman at the other end.
Here's the back pass to Len Bias. He almost bobbles it, goes up strong, back over his head. What a leaper, what a pass. Adrian Branch with the great vision, passed off, looked off the ball. Len Bias.
Johnny Dawkins, after being 0 for 7 in this half, hits a bucket. He now has 16 points, but it's still the 12-point lead to the Terps with 2:48 to play. Keith Gatlin. And a foul is called. 7 points for the 6'5" freshman. Keith Gatlin has hit 4 consecutive free throws. Maryland doing it right. 2:40 left in this game. 63-49 Maryland. Dawkins from the top of the circle. He's hit 2 in a row after going 0 for 7. 18 points now for Johnny Dawkins, but still the 12-point lead to Maryland. Branch. 2:15 left. A 5-second call. Lefty Driesell really furious. He never is going to feel like he has enough. He's up by 12 right now with 2:15 to play.
Lenny Wirtz putting the ball in play. Duke needs a shot quick. Maryland staying with that 2-3 zone. Johnny Dawkins from the top of the key. Won't go.
Here comes Branch up court for Maryland. Bounce pass to Coleman. Jumper by Ben Coleman. Good. Ben Coleman now has a dozen points. 1:56 left in this championship game, and Maryland up by 14. Allery down inside. The ball is knocked loose. And a foul is called on Herman Veal. That is his second foul. Allery, just a sophomore. What are you talking about, a day when nothing goes right?
Lefty Giselle inserting Jeff Atkins. He wants 3 guards in there. They're going to take the air out of the basketball. He wants his best ball handlers and free throw shooters on the floor.
Allery 0 for 3 on the line. 5 points Allery, 13-point lead Maryland. 1:47 left in the game. Atkins to Gatlin. Gatlin on up to Branch. They're 2-on-1. They get it inside to Bias. He turns it down. The clock is off the shot clock. And Amaker fouls Gatlin. This is Jeff Atkins on the line. 2 points on the afternoon for Atkins, makes it 3. Maryland with some cushion and just up there drilling it from the free throw line right now.
They've been a tough team all day.
Atkins free throw, good. 4 points now for Jeff Atkins. There's Lefty Driesell, bringing Atkins out of the ball game and clapping with good reason. Things are going his way right now. 1:37 left in this championship game. Maryland with a 15-point lead, and it's all happened late in this half. Allery, turnaround jump shot, good. Mark Allery now with 7. 1:24 left in the contest. Ben Coleman. I think he thought there was a player down there. I think he tried to make a pass and there was no one there.
Ben Coleman couldn't handle it, bobbled it out of bounds. Maryland's still trying to score. They've really got offensive momentum going. They're not slowing up a bit.
Dawkins from the top of the circle. He now has 20 points in this ball game. After an 0 for 7 run, he has hit 3 of his next 4 shots. Duke gets the timeout with 1:09 left in this basketball game. Into Atkins. Back to Coleman. Up to Gatlin. And he's across the timeline with it. 2-time now, 3-time. And he's got Bias for the dunk.
Keith Gatlin has been the director the whole game. He's the guy that's running the offense. He's running their stall offense. Excellent pass that time. Adrian Branch will be called for pushing off.
Mahar. It's good. 11 points, Danny Mahar. Still a 12-point lead to Maryland with 45 seconds to play. 12 points for Danny Mahar. Coleman inside to Branch. Branch quickly draws the track, trying to move it out of there, puts it on the floor, gets it to Atkins, and up court they come. 3-on-1 against Allery, but Coleman just going to hold it outside. There's Coleman.
Duke gambling so much on defense, they're leaving somebody open. Maryland always seems to find the open man. Excellent one-on-one move by Johnny Dawkins. Perhaps a too little, too late.
Maryland inbounds to Adrian Branch. Back to Coleman. Coleman at midcourt gets it up to Atkins. Atkins on the drive. Jeff Atkins, he was fouled. The basket's going to count. Jeff Atkins now with a half dozen points. Keith Gatlin comes out of the ball game. 10 seconds left in the contest. 73-60 Maryland. Ben Coleman is out of there now. Jeff Baxter's on the floor. Chuck Rozelle's on the floor. Pete Holbert's out there. Jeff Atkins on the free throw line. Fothergill will replace him if Atkins makes the free throw. He does. Out comes Atkins. In comes Fothergill. 74-60 Maryland with 10 seconds left in the game, and Lefty has emptied the bench. Johnny Dawkins. Amaker, jumper off the baseline, good. 6 points, Tommy Amaker. That's going to do it. This game just came to an end. Maryland has won the 1984 ACC championship with a 74-62 win over Duke.